It was brought to my attention that at least one human being cares about my reviews, so despite my negative feelings towards my channel, the show must continue, so continue it will, at least for as long as I have presentable figures to review. I expect to run out of material this very year, but all this yapping aside, I wanna review Windblade today. I really love how she looks. I would argue this is the best Windblade toy so far. And guys, she's really not that bad. What are you on about? Yes, she has a big backpack, but 1, you can pause from it off, and 2, so this isn't fine. But this is? I don't understand. I do agree the hollowness on the wings is unsightly, but if Siege Seeker mode gets a pass, why can't Windblade? The turbines being painted only on one side doesn't bother me. All paint budget probably went to her face, but it's a killer makeup, so I'd say it was worth it. The combat posts on her shoulders are a bit silly, as they aren't in the most accessible spot to plug weapons in, and they can clash with the wings, but only because the wings don't get enough space to move back, as the backpack is on the way. For articulation to get an expressive bulging head, shoulders could go all the way around, but the wings are in the way. Idle range is standard 90, biceps throw, and only almost 90 but not quite in elbows, wrist throws, waist throw, legs kick forward almost 90, back actual 90, and out also 90. Restricted thighs throw, 90 knee bend, foot can point down, but there is no use in this, and ankle pivots. The wings are possible in 2 joints, 20 points of articulation. Now I don't count the wings in. For accessories I get her sword, but this one sucks. I get it. They wanted it to also double as an afterburner flame, but it just doesn't work out. Windblade sword has a specific shape to it, one no continuity even dares to change. You can holster it on her hip, but there's no sheath, so boo. You also get a fan. Oh wait, it's already on her. You take it off her head and plug it into her palm, or if you fancy out someone else, they can hold it too. The peg is 5mm wide, and that's honestly it for the gimmicks. You can switch her turbines, but that's more for the alt mode. Speaking of which, the transformation is not terrible, but you're not doing much, and the only interesting bit is the way they deal with the head. Instead of hiding it in the torso where there really isn't much space for it, they just shroud it with the nose cone shell. The legs transformation is cool, but we've seen it before, right? J-Axis had something similar to this going on. And okay, it's not perfect. The torso and arms are right there. This section is too thick, the sword integration is laughable, and these panels seemingly don't serve a purpose. But they actually do, as this jet mode does have a landing gear, and these fins act as rear landing gears. And okay, it doesn't hold a candle to Jet Hatter's jet, but it's not perfect either. It's a licensed idle mode, and her robot mode doesn't hold a candle to anything. Where were we? Ah yes, complaints. I wish the blue for the cockpit was a lot more vibrant, as it doesn't stand out much and can get lost amongst the sea of red. I also wish the turbines could lock in the state, but I also can imagine a mechanism for it. But other than that, I don't really have anything to bitch about. The side profile is better than most Jetformers. The top view is only slightly inhibited by the arms, and the front view is funny without those 7 stabilizers. Yes, one of them is drooping. No, I do not care. I ran out of things to say. Bleedball racing then. Looks category first. Accuracy is a 7. Yeah, the backpack shouldn't be this big, and the wings aren't exact, and it would have been better if these parts were painted black, but other than that, it's pretty spot on. Robot mode is an 8. There are a few things that don't let it have a high score, including the backpack, but it does look very nice to my eye. L mode is a 6. Not great, not terrible. Serviceable. Doesn't have major flaws, but neither doesn't have anything noteworthy. Cool factor is a 4. There's not much going on engineering-wise to make it cool. The character of Cyberverse Windblade is pretty bland, especially in the first season, but the design itself carries the score. Cable management is a 7, yada yada the backpack. But the rest is pretty clean. The rear stabilizers are technically cable, but they don't stand out enough and aren't hideous. Play category next. Articulation is an 8. It doesn't have any extra joints like butterfly joints or sword within wrists, but it covers a good range and variety. I could take away a point for limited elbows, but they are not limited enough for that. And a more expressive head and more ankle pivot range make up for it anyway. Transformation is a 5. The transformation is interesting, but not interesting enough to warrant a higher score. Gimmicks is a 4. None of the gimmicks the toy has is good enough to justify this score, but the amount of gimmicks makes it so. As believe it or not, it is crammed with them. Accessories is a 5. The blade of the sword doubling as a thruster flame effect elevates what would have been a box on the 3 to a 4, and the fan adds another point on top. Quality is an 8. The plastic feels nice, most of the joints are tight, the paint seems sturdy, but that's it. Value is a 7. For $20 you get a nicely posable robot mode, an OK transformation, and a better than average jet mode. I'd say $20 is worth it. 69 points on total. Nice. which puts Windblade 17th on the list. And that's it. Thank you for watching and sticking with me long enough to hear this line, even though I don't expect anyone to hear it ever, as my viewer retention is just in the fucking bin by this point of the video, so I'm not gonna drag it down even more. Goodbye.